Greetings, 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 everybody, on this Tuesday evening. I hope everybody's doing well. Let's see, we have about 23. We're short about 5 or 6 people, and I would say we'll give them another 2 minutes, and then we have a guest speaker here tonight for a few minutes, and then we'll see what else is going on. So we got I'd say about 2 more minutes. We're up to, I guess, 22, 21 actually. So we're actually missing about 6 or 7 people. So maybe they're playing hooky. Everybody doing okay tonight? Quiet, tired. All right, I see 1 thumbs up. Thank you for answering. Thank you, Valerie and Ben. Okay.
Good, Professor. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. All right. I got some responses going on. I'm doing great.
Been a long day.
It has been a long day. A really long day. And it was an even longer night last night grading. So I understand. I've had so many messages this last week or so from students who are feeling so overwhelmed that so many things are due before the holidays that y'all worked on my sympathies. So I was extending due dates, feeling bad for y'all. So.
Because they want us to stress eat.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I was saying it's because they want us to stress eat. But I was joking.
That's what it must be. Yeah, it must be that. Well, have no fear. We're also doing it as the faculty. You're welcome, Gina. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're up to about 25, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Sammy is here today to speak to y'all about 2 organizations, student organizations, and she's going to tell you, give information about resources and some other things that we have going on. So I want y'all to welcome Sammy. And Sammy, I will give you if you need to screen, I'll give you the right to share.
Okay, perfect. Give me 1 second. Okay, oh yeah. Okay, I need, if you can let me share my screen. Hi, everybody. I had actually a few of you in my classes before, Surya and I believe Monica. I will have you both. So hi again.
What's up, Sammy?
Not much. Just trying to keep it together as we all are. All right, everybody. I am the president of HCASF. I am not the president of UPD, but we are sister organizations here at CSULB, and we are a student forum. So it's Healthcare Administration Student Forum is what HCASF stands for. And a little bit about us. So what's unique about us is that if you join this organization, you really get connected with all the HCA students. And what I mean by that is that during your time here at CSULB, you want to make those connections within your career major. Can't even speak right now. So you want to make these connections because when you go into the real world, we're going to need these connections. Sometimes knowing each other in where we are now, which is college, and then extending it out when we are actually in the real world can really benefit us. And so what I mean by that is that HCASF provides an opportunity for us students to grow, and it provides us an opportunity to network with alumni, faculty, and other students within our major. And for that is a really good way to build your networking system beyond CSULB. And that means like even alumni now are like the best thing and the worst thing I did was not make my networking. One of the alumni was really strong about how it provides opportunities and opens doors for us as students, and it helps us grow as individuals to have those connections. So we also encourage a lot of community outreach and like just being within a community. I know later this year, or not later this year, December, next month, sorry, I cannot talk. On December 2nd at 7 p.m, we are having our first coffee social. It is our last event of the year, but it is a great, or not of the, yeah, of the year. Sorry, I'm thinking we're in like spring for whatever reason. But this is the last thing we'll be having before spring. And this is an event where you guys can come You can connect with one another. You get to meet a lot of faculty and alumni, and you get to really get to know each other. You get to sit here and have these conversations, everyday conversations that you don't normally get to do inside the classroom, because sometimes befriending people in the classroom can be a little intimidating. And what I mean by that is some people are just there to go to college and then go home. And I'm one of those people because I'm a mom of 2 kids, and I'm also part of ASI, and I do a lot of other things. So the last thing I want to do is sit and hang around and talk to people. Love you guys, but sometimes it's just not in my schedule. So this is a great way to be able to connect with us students and to be able to connect with your peers and learn alongside them and be able to grow with these individuals as this program provides. Another thing, and sorry, let me, next one. So our mission again is to promote an environment that's advantageous in educational, ethical development, and personal social skills for more effective leadership in healthcare organizations. It's a great way, like I said, to just networking. It's a prime start to get you ready for when you're outside of college and when you're going to need sometimes references to what other people are doing and to help you through like any roadblocks you face in your future careers. With that being said, again, community, we like to work with our peers, make friends. It's a great way to really get involved. I honestly have joined CSULB during my time. My first year as a transfer student was all online. So I didn't have the opportunity to make friends. All my friends were made through online courses like this. And sometimes it's not easy to really make those friends outside of your groups that you have for those group projects that you normally do. So this is a great way to connect with other students. We are going to be transitioning next semester, possibly hybrid. So that way we can have more in-person gatherings, because I know a lot of students really want that again. But right now it's kind of going to be both, because some people like myself can only be there for so many times, so many hours out of the day, because I have kids and other people have lives going on, you know? So we're trying to think about those accommodations as well. Again, you can connect with alumni events, you can learn beyond the classroom, workshops, guest speakers. And what a wonderful thing that we just had is I hosted a panel of guest speakers of those who are of administrative positions in healthcare administration kind of areas. And you learn about what different areas you can do to grow into this field. It's a very broad major and it covers a lot of different areas of healthcare. So knowing kind of what's out there is really helpful. And what I gained from just having that discussion panel alone was you have to have that experience. You have to learn. You have to be able to put yourself out there and get that experience and get that hands-on work to really grow in healthcare administration. And a lot of those guest speakers was able to provide a lot of information that you wouldn't be able to get just talking to our professors half the time. Because yes, they are educating us, but sometimes it's not, they don't have those resources like some other people do. But however, even though some don't, others do. Not all professors are very limited in what they know, because they have so many networking systems outside of CSULB too. So it doesn't just stem within the classroom or just stem from where these discussion panels are. It's a great way of learning about your major and learning about what you can do in the future and your potential. Again, it's a professional development experience. It's great. It's an opportunity for you to grow as an individual. It's great for your resume. A lot of people love to see your engagement in school. It's just another placard that makes you stand out from the rest of the crowd. So membership fees are HCASF has a $10 membership fee per semester, $20 for academic year, no GPA requirement. You must attend at least 3 events for it to be an active membership. Graduation sash is included, but eventually when we do have those, UPD, you do have to have a GPA minimum of 3.25. It's $10 a semester, $20 a lifetime membership, and graduation sash and tassel and whatnot vary on price and whatnot. So we do have leadership positions open. I will drop my contact information in the chat so that way you guys can ask me any questions if you'd like to. It's also, like I said, if you have any questions for me, if you don't plan on joining or you do want to join in the future, but you just can't financially afford it, that is fine. That is okay. You're more than welcome to reach out to me, and especially if you just want to make a friend. I'm here. I'm a friendly face. If you know me, if you see me on campus with my dog, come say hi. I'm not a stranger. Please stop me, approach me, say hi. I don't know many people inside CSULB because my first year was on hybrid. This is the first semester where I've actually been in person and really made those connections in person. So this is new to me. This is new to like a lot of students, especially now that we're back on campus. But if you do see me, with my golden retriever, come say hi. Don't be afraid. I'm a friendly face. I had social anxiety when we got done with all this online stuff, and I'm here to be able to help you bridge with that social anxiety as well, because I'd struggle with that too. like I said, these leadership positions provide opportunity for you to grow as an individual. And what I mean by that is like I said, came out of my own comfort zone, joined HCASF, and STEM to be above and beyond what I thought I could be. I also am a board of trustees for ASI. And with that, I hold a lot of power in what your voice says and how I can relay it to executives. So your opinion matters, your thoughts matter, and that's what matters to me. I'm here as a resource. Please use me. I am your advocate. I am a student parent. So if any of you are student parents, please come to me, express your concerns, your barriers, anything. I will try and do my best to help you. I know we all are in different phases in our lives. Some of us are freshmen, some of us are not freshmen, but some of us transferred as freshmen, some of us are transfers. So use me as a resource, use me as a tool, please. And then we do have our HCA advisory board survey, and this helps more or less us understand how we're doing as an HCA program. If we are meeting your needs as students, I know one of my girlfriends says that her concerns as she's just now leaving is not being able to have enough experience with real life interview processes, how to navigate a salary or negotiate a salary, all these things that I didn't think of until she graduated. And so having the survey helps us understand, like, do you think when you go into your internship, do you have enough experience? Do you feel like you're lacking in some areas? If you do, what are they? How can we help? And with the survey, it helps us understand as a board, and we can also help other professors understand, like, what it is that we're lacking in our program and how can we make it better? It's like a Yelp review. So with that being said, please scan that QR code. The best thing you can do is just get connected, even if it's just on Instagram or Discord. And then also that board survey is attached to that. If you do have any questions, please feel free to email me. I'll actually drop my personal email. I am here as a resource for you. Please use me to your advantage. And another thing to talk about is you guys eventually will hear on November 30th is the drop of the Future You, which is a student union. They're redoing it pretty much. They're gonna kind of like break it down to the bones and then restart, like trying to build up again a new building. And with that being said, your opinion matters. What goes in this for future students matters. So again, use this as a resource, use this as to connect with me if you have any questions, concerns, or thoughts, especially some of those students who are graduating. You do have a voice. I know there's issues with graduation. I'm here to advocate for you and if you feel a certain way. And on top of that, not only do I do those two things, I wear a lot of different hats in life. And right now, I also work at the WGEC. What is that? Women's Gender Equity Center. It is a place that started just as a women's resource center, but it's now crossed between all genders. It is a safe space. It's a family safe space to study. It's a more intimate area to study. You get free printing, you get snacks. Snacks are free. We have menstrual products free for those who need it. Actually, well, for anybody, but in general, it's just a place where women can go or anybody can go and really feel safe and that you're in a more quieter environment. Like I said, it's a more intimate area, but you do get free printing, you get free snacks, you do get free water if we do have it. It's a resource on campus that you can use, especially when we're in a jam and we got to hurry and we got to run to our classes, but we need to print because our printer wasn't working last night at midnight and we're all stressing because we all know how that goes. I know how that goes, but especially when I have kids, I'm trying to get them off to school. You know, there's all these different things that CSULB provides, and the Women and Gender and Equity Center is one of them. It's in the Student Success Center on the second floor. It's 240. If I'm there, come say hi. Don't be afraid. It's a new area. It's a new space, but it's there for you to utilize and to take advantage of, please. But that concludes my announcements. I appreciate all of you for listening, especially given that I'm taking some of your time away from class, but please feel free to utilize me. Thank you.
Thanks, Sammy. We appreciate it. I know that it was some great information that you passed along, and hopefully you will have recruited a few of my students out of here.
I always hope so. You never know.
That's for sure. I face that every time I go to the community colleges.
Yeah, in community college, it's a little different. You don't really learn. Everyone in community college, it's a lot different than university, let me tell you. When I was at my community college, I felt like everyone was just on the go. You could never make friends. It's hard. It's a difficult situation, especially when I wasn't pregnant or having a child at the time. I just felt like everybody was just going. And now that we have this opportunity to be able to connect with other students, it's amazing. So that's why I've taken it beyond my four realms of my walls of just being a student and being here at CSULB and decided to take on that presidency and really connect with you guys as students, because at the end of the day, it's about you, it's about your future. And that's what matters to me, is how do I make you successful for the future? How do I make you go beyond the four walls of, our bedrooms and doing this Zoom stuff? It's impactful. So please feel free to contact me.
Hey, thanks, Sammy.
Thank you.
Oh, one more thing. Tomorrow night's the third general meeting. I can't remember if you said anything about it or not, but it's, I sent everybody a flyer about it. It looks like it's going to be really good for anybody that's even considering graduate school at some point. Right, Sammy?
Yes, of course. I've learned so much sorry, I was writing down my email, but I've learned so much just from being connected with HCASF. And one of them was definitely learning about what I could do with my major. And even those who are wanting to do graduate school, it's a great way to learn about what opportunities it can provide for you. I've heard it's opened many doors for individuals who decided to get their bachelor's and then go beyond and get their master's later. So it's definitely a way to connect and to learn about what you can do, especially with the speakers that we have. Some of them are actually here at CSULB professors, and you'll get to connect with them in person in your classes. But it's also a great way to just really learn about what's out there for you. How can you grow and how can you expand as an individual? So again, thank you. But it's a good meeting. Everybody should come, whether it's your first time at participating. It's a great way to just get connected.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any questions for Sammy?
I had a question, but it wasn't for HCASF. It's actually about UPD. I know they have a GPA requirement. Do we have to submit an application for UPD? Do you by any chance know?
Oh, yeah. So for the application process, it's through Beach Sync, and Beach Sync is where you go for like all the organizations for CSULB, and it'll ask, I believe, for your transcripts. I want to say, I'm not the one who receives them. We're not the ones who get them, but I believe it goes through the student development office, and then they approve or deny depending on your GPA. But it's all run through Beach Sync. You'll see it on your SSO sign in. When you first sign in, you normally have all those apps of what you should do or what you can do. And one of them is Beach Sync. That's where you want to apply. And always feel free to reach out if you have any questions.
Thank you.
I think is it 3.25 in HCA classes? Is it, or do you know, Sammy?
Yeah, I believe it's 3.25. Let me double check. And I believe you have to be here for.
You have to have full semester. You have to, I'm pretty sure you have to have had 12 or one full semester of HCA classes.
It's
Yes.
it's definitely a full semester.
Yeah.
So, okay. Y'all
Thank
can
you.
get more information about that. Y'all can email Sammy or Kimberly Gonzalez or Eric.
And I believe
Uh,
it's also your Cal State Long Beach GPA, not the like college transferred and GPA. It's just
That
the
is
Cal
correct.
State Long Beach. Yeah.
I did look into that, and it is strictly your CSULB GPA. And it's actually the GPA, I think, in the HCA classes. So,
Yeah. Like I said, just normally, I believe, excuse me, all the application stuff normally goes through the Student Life and Development, which is who approves and denies and everything based on GPA and stuff. So they're the ones that'll definitely go through your transcript and whatnot, but I'm not the one who runs UPD. I just know we join a lot of our meetings together because we are sisters, but one just holds a higher status because you do have a higher GPA. And it's always, like I said, it's always great for a resume and to show that you're involved and to show the involvement that you've made within your college education. So it's a great way to connect. So again, as I keep reiterating myself, don't feel afraid to connect with me, whether it's about just wanting to make a friend, stopping me to say hi. I'm a resource to you. Please use me. Please utilize me. I wear a lot of different hats. I can help you with in a lot of different areas. That's what I'm here for. So thank you again.
someone just asked, Daisy, to get the UPD slash, you definitely have to join because that comes from the UPD corporate. To get the one that for the forum, I believe it says HCA or student forum on it, doesn't it, Sammy?
Yes. So
yes, you do have to join.
Yeah, you do have to join to get them. Any other questions?
Okay, thanks, Sammy. Have a good evening.
You too. Thank you.
Okay, now on to our class time. All right, I have a bit of a conflict. I tried to bribe y'all into somebody doing their presentation tonight. It didn't work. It worked with my morning class. I have a little bit of a conflict. I'm presenting a paper in Las Vegas on Tuesday when we come back, and there's 3 groups that are presenting that night. I need to have at least 1 and preferably 2 of those 3 that are presenting that night to move to the next Tuesday night. So, I mean, we could, if y'all wanted, we could move all the groups and just have 1 long Tuesday night and not come to class that next week. But I do need at least 1 and preferably 2 to move from the, let's see what that date is, from the 29th to the 6th. So, do I have any volunteers group-wise? Does anybody remember when they're presenting? Oh, silence. Okay. All right, give me a second and I'll tell you which groups it is. I'm working out of my normal sync here time here. 2. Okay, so the groups that are on the 29th are group 1 and group 3 and group 5. Any of, get back to y'all so I can see you. Who would be happy and willing to move? Group 5 will be fine. Okay, super. Thank you very much. Where did my chat go? It disappeared. Okay, any other group willing to move from the 29th to the 6th? Okay, let me see. So group 1, you do not want to move, and group 3, group 1 and 3, y'all want to stay put? Oh, I see one more message. Okay, group 3, okay. Group 3 and 5, thank you, I appreciate that. If group 1 decides y'all want to move off also, let me know. But group 3 and 5, that'll work for me. That'll give me the time I need. And I appreciate it very much. I did not know when I scheduled this class, we just got the times for the presentations in. So I am presenting 2 different papers in Las Vegas. So, okay, super. All right, thank you so much, 3 and 5, for helping me out there. So we will meet then this Tuesday after the break for group 1 to do their presentation. Okay, in group 1, if you decide you want to lump it into with the others and I'll do it in one night, let me know. And I'll send out a message. Okay, so what we're going to do tonight, I decided I was looking to see what I could do, and I've got a video, a TED Talk I want y'all to watch that is on body language, because body language is really important, and I always try to cover it during the semester, and we really didn't have a chance this semester. We had we had the speakers and we had the groups, and somehow it just didn't, because I had more speakers this time than I normally do. So what I'm going to do is show you a video on body language. I think you'll enjoy it. And then afterwards, we'll talk about it a little bit. It kind of fits in there with ethics and, just generally a well-rounded manager. So let me, give me 1 second to bring it up. And let's see. Gotta find the email I sent to myself. Okay. All right.
So I want to start by offering you a free no-tech life hack. And all it requires of you is this, that you change your posture for 2 minutes. But before I give it away, I want to ask you to right now do a little audit of your body and what you're doing with your body. So how many of you are sort of making yourselves smaller? Maybe you're hunching, crossing your legs, maybe wrapping your ankles. Sometimes we hold on to our arms like this. Sometimes we spread out. I see you. So I want you to pay attention to what you're doing right now. We're going to come back to that in a few minutes, and I'm hoping that if you sort of learn to tweak this a little bit, it could significantly change the way your life unfolds. So we're really fascinated with body language, and we're particularly interested in other people's body language. You know, we're interested in, like, you know, an awkward interaction or a smile or a contemptuous glance or maybe a very awkward wink or maybe even something like a handshake.
Here they are arriving at number 10 and look at this lucky policeman gets to shake hands with the President of the United States. Oh, and here comes the Prime Minister of it. No.
So a handshake or the lack of a handshake can have us talking for weeks and weeks and weeks, even the BBC and the New York Times. So obviously, when we think about nonverbal behavior or body language, but we call it nonverbals as social scientists, it's language. So we think about communication. When we think about communication, we think about interactions. So what is your body language communicating to me? What's mine communicating to you? And there's a lot of reason to believe that this is a valid way to look at this. So social scientists have spent a lot of time looking at the effects of our body language or other people's body language on judgments. And we make sweeping judgments and inferences from body language. And those judgments can predict really meaningful life outcomes like who we hire or promote, who we ask out on a date. For example, Nalini Ambady, a researcher at Tufts University, shows that when people watch 30-second soundless clips of real physician-patient interactions, their judgments of the physician's niceness predict whether or not that physician will be sued. So it doesn't have to do so much with whether or not that physician was incompetent, but do we like that person and how they interacted? Even more dramatic, Alex Todorov at Princeton has shown us that judgments of political candidates' faces in just 1 second predict 70% of US Senate and gubernatorial race outcomes. And even, let's go digital, emoticons used well in online negotiations can lead you to claim more value from that negotiation. If you use them poorly, bad idea, right? So when we think of nonverbals, we think of how we judge others, how they judge us, and what the outcomes are. We tend to forget, though, the other audience that's influenced by our nonverbals, and that's ourselves. We are also influenced by our nonverbals, our thoughts and our feelings and our physiology. So what nonverbals am I talking about? I'm a social psychologist, I study prejudice, and I teach at a competitive business school. So it was inevitable that I would become interested in power dynamics. I became especially interested in nonverbal expressions of power and dominance. And what are nonverbal expressions of power and dominance? Well, this is what they are. So in the animal kingdom, they are about expanding. So you make yourself big, you stretch out, you take up space, you're basically opening up. It's about opening up. And this is true across the animal kingdom. It's not just limited to primates, and humans do the same thing. So they do this both when they have power sort of chronically, and also when they're feeling powerful in the moment. And this one is especially interesting because it really shows us how universal and old these expressions of power are. This expression, which is known as pride, Jessica Tracy has studied, she shows that people who are born with sight and people who are congenitally blind do this when they win at a physical competition. So when they cross the finish line and they've won, it doesn't matter if they've never seen anyone do it, they do this. So the arms up in the V, the chin is slightly lifted. What do we do when we feel powerless? We do exactly the opposite. We close up, we wrap ourselves up, we make ourselves small. We don't want to bump into the person next to us. So again, both animals and humans do the same thing. And this is what happens when you put together high and low power. So what we tend to do when it comes to power is that we complement the other's nonverbals. So if someone's being really powerful with us, we tend to make ourselves smaller. We don't mirror them, we do the opposite of them. So I'm watching this behavior in the classroom, and what do I notice? I notice that MBA students really exhibit the full range of power nonverbals. So you have people who are like caricatures of alphas, like really coming into the room, they get right into the middle of the room before class even starts, like they really want to occupy space. When they sit down, they're sort of spread out, they raise their hands like this. You have other people who are virtually collapsing when they come in. As soon as they come in, you see it. You see it on their faces and their bodies, and they sit in their chair and they make themselves tiny, and they go like this when they raise their hand. I noticed a couple of things about this. One, you're not going to be surprised, it seems to be related to gender. So women are much more likely to do this kind of thing than men. Women feel chronically less powerful than men, so this is not surprising. But the other thing I noticed is that it also seemed to be related to the extent to which the students were participating and how well they were participating. And this is really important in the MBA classroom because participation counts for half the grade. So business schools have been struggling with this gender grade gap. You get these equally qualified women and men coming in, and then you get these differences in grades, and it seems to be partly attributable to participation. So I started to wonder, okay, so you have these people coming in like this, and they're participating. Is it possible?
Yikes. I think I must have had a glitch. Hang on. Oh, man. All right, let me get if I can get it back. Had a bleep.
These differences in grades, and it seems to be partly attributable to participation. So I started to wonder, okay, so you have these people coming in like this and they're participating. Is it possible that we could get people to fake it, and would it lead them to participate more? So my main collaborator, Dana Carney, who's at Berkeley, and I really wanted to know, can you fake it till you make it? Like, can you do this just for a little while and actually experience a behavioral outcome that makes you seem more powerful? So we know that our nonverbals govern how other people think and feel about us. There's a lot of evidence, but our question really was, do our nonverbals govern how we think and feel about ourselves? There's some evidence that they do. So, for example, when we smile when we feel happy, but also when we're forced to smile by holding a pen in our teeth like this, it makes us feel happy. So it goes both ways. When it comes to power, it also goes both ways. So when you feel powerful, you're more likely to do this, but it's also possible that when you pretend to be powerful, you are more likely to actually feel powerful. So the second question really was, so we know that our minds change our bodies, but is it also true that our bodies change our minds? And when I say minds, in the case of the powerful, what am I talking about? So I'm talking about thoughts and feelings and the sort of physiological things that make up our thoughts and feelings. And in my case, that's hormones. I look at hormones. So what do the minds of the powerful versus the powerless look like? So powerful people tend to be, not surprisingly, more assertive and more confident, more optimistic. They actually feel that they're going to win even at games of chance. They also tend to be able to think more abstractly. So there are a lot of differences. They take more risks. There are a lot of differences between powerful and powerless people. Physiologically, there also are differences on two key hormones, testosterone, which is the dominance hormone, and cortisol, which is the stress hormone. So what we find is that high-power alpha males in primate hierarchies have high testosterone and low cortisol. And powerful and effective leaders also have high testosterone and low cortisol. So what does that mean? When you think about power, people tended to think only about testosterone because that was about dominance. But really, power is also about how you react to stress. So do you want the high power leader that's dominant, high on testosterone, but really stress reactive? Probably not, right? You want the person who's powerful and assertive and dominant, but not very stress reactive, the person who's laid back. So we know that in primate hierarchies, if an alpha needs to take over, if an individual needs to take over an alpha role sort of suddenly, within a few days, that individual's testosterone has gone up significantly and his cortisol has dropped significantly. So we have this evidence, both that the body can shape the mind, at least at the facial level, and also that role changes can shape the mind. So what happens, okay, you take a role change, what happens if you do that at a really minimal level, like this tiny manipulation, this tiny intervention? For 2 minutes you say, I want you to stand like this, and it's going to make you feel more powerful. So this is what we did. We decided to bring people into the lab and run a little experiment. And these people adopted for 2 minutes either high power poses or low power poses. And I'm just going to show you 5 of the poses, although they took on only 2. So here's one, couple more. This one has been dubbed the Wonder Woman by the media. Here are a couple more. So you can be standing or you can be sitting. And here are the low power poses. So you're folding up, you're making yourself small. This one is very low power. When you're touching your neck, you're really kind of protecting yourself. So this is what happens. They come in, they spit into a vial. We, for 2 minutes, say, you need to do this or this. They don't look at pictures of the poses. We don't want to prime them with the concept of power. We want them to be feeling power, right? So 2 minutes they do this. We then ask them, how powerful do you feel on a series of items? And then we give them an opportunity to gamble. And then we take another saliva sample. That's it. That's the whole experiment. So this is what we find. Risk tolerance, which is the gambling. What we find is that when you're in the high power pose condition, 86% of you will gamble. When you're in the low power pose condition, only 60%. And that's a pretty whopping significant difference. Here's what we find on testosterone. From their baseline when they come in, high power people experience about a 20% increase, and low power people experience about a 10% decrease. So again, 2 minutes and you get these changes. Here's what you get on cortisol. High power people experience about a 25% decrease, and the low power people experience about a 15% increase. So 2 minutes lead to these hormonal changes that configure your brain to basically be either assertive, confident, and comfortable, or really stress reactive, and feeling sort of shut down. And we've all had that feeling, right? So it seems that our nonverbals do govern how we think and feel about ourselves. So it's not just others, but it's also ourselves. Also, our bodies change our minds. But the next question, of course, is, can power posing for a few minutes really change your life in meaningful ways? So this is in the lab, it's this little task, it's just a couple of minutes. Where can you actually apply this, which we cared about, of course. And so we think it's really what matters, where you want to use this is evaluative situations, like social threat situations. Where are you being evaluated? Either by your friends, like for teenagers, is it at the lunchroom table? It could be, for some people, it's speaking at a school board meeting. It might be giving a pitch, or giving a talk like this, or doing a job interview. We decided that the one that most people could relate to, because most people had been through, was the job interview. So we published these findings, and the media are all over it, and they say, Okay, so this is what you do when you go in for the job interview, right? You know, so we were, of course, horrified and said, oh my God, no, 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 that's not what we meant at all for numerous reasons. No, 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 don't do that. Again, this is not about you talking to other people, it's you talking to yourself. What do you do before you go into a job interview? You do this, right? You're sitting down, you're looking at your iPhone or your Android, not trying to leave anyone out. You're looking at your notes, you're hunching up, making yourself small, when really what you should be doing maybe is this, like in the bathroom. Right? Do that, find 2 minutes. So that's what we want to test, okay? So we bring people into a lab and they do either high or low power poses again. They go through a very stressful job interview. It's 5 minutes long. They are being recorded, they're being judged also. And the judges are trained to give no nonverbal feedback. So they look like this. Like imagine this is the person interviewing you. So for 5 minutes, nothing. And this is worse than being heckled. People hate this. It's what Marianne LaFrance calls standing in social quicksand. So this really spikes your cortisol. So this is the job interview we put them through because we really wanted to see what happened. We then have these coders look at these tapes, 4 of them. They're blind to the hypothesis, they're blind to the conditions. They have no idea who's been posing in what pose. And they end up looking at these sets of tapes and they say, oh, we want to hire these people, all the high power posers. We don't want to hire these people. We also evaluate these people much more positively overall. But what's driving it? It's not about the content of the speech. It's about the presence that they're bringing to the speech. We also, because we rate them on all these variables related to sort of competence, like how well structured is the speech? How good is it? What are their qualifications? No effect on those things. This is what's affected, these kinds of things. People are bringing their true selves, basically. They're bringing themselves. They bring their ideas, but as themselves, with no, residue over them. So this is what's driving the effect or mediating the effect. So when I tell people about this, that our bodies change our minds and our minds can change our behavior and our behavior can change our outcomes, they say to me, it feels fake, right? So I said fake it till you make it. Like it's not me. Like I don't want to get there and then still feel like a fraud. I don't want to feel like an imposter. I don't want to get there only to feel like I'm not supposed to be here. And that really resonated with me because I want to tell you a little story about being an imposter and feeling like I'm not supposed to be here. When I was 19, I was in a really bad car accident. I was thrown out of a car, rolled several times. I was thrown from the car, and I woke up in a head injury rehab ward, and I had been withdrawn from college, and I learned that my IQ had dropped by 2 standard deviations, which was very traumatic. I knew my IQ because I had identified with being smart, and I had been called gifted as a child. So I'm taken out of college. I keep trying to go back. They say, you're not going to finish college. Like just, there are other things for you to do, but that's not going to work out for you. So I really struggled with this. And I have to say, having your identity taken from you, your core identity, and for me it was being smart, having that taken from you, there's nothing that leaves you feeling more powerless than that. So I felt entirely powerless. I worked and worked and worked, and I got lucky and worked and got lucky and worked. Eventually, I graduated from college. It took me 4 years longer than my peers, and I convinced someone, my angel advisor, Susan Fisk, to take me on, and so I ended up at Princeton, and I was like, I am not supposed to be here. I am an imposter. And the night before my first year talk, and the first year talk at Princeton is a 20-minute talk to 20 people. That's it. I was so afraid of being found out the next day that I called her and said, I'm quitting. She was like, you are not quitting because I took a gamble on you and you're staying. You're going to stay, and this is what you're going to do. You're going to fake it. You're going to do every talk that you ever get asked to do. You're just going to do it and do it and do it, even if you're terrified and just paralyzed and having an out-of-body experience until you have this moment where you say, oh my gosh, I'm doing it. Like, I have become this. I am actually doing this. So that's what I did. 5 years in grad school. A few years, I'm at Northwestern. I moved to Harvard. I'm at Harvard. I'm not really thinking about it anymore, but for a long time I had been thinking, not supposed to be here, not supposed to be here. So at the end of my first year at Harvard, a student who had not talked in class the entire semester, who I had said, look, you gotta participate or else you're gonna fail, came into my office. I really didn't know her at all. And she came in totally defeated, and she said, I'm not supposed to be here. And that was the moment for me because two things happened. One was that I realized, oh my gosh, I don't feel like that anymore. I don't feel that anymore, but she does, and I get that feeling. And the second was, she is supposed to be here. Like, she can fake it, she can become it. So he's like, yes, you are. You are supposed to be here, and tomorrow you're gonna fake it, you're gonna make yourself powerful, and you're gonna, and you're gonna go into the classroom and you are gonna give the best comment ever, And she gave the best comment ever. And people turned around, they were like, oh my God, I didn't even notice her sitting there, She comes back to me months later, and I realized that she had not just faked it till she made it, she had actually faked it till she became it. So she had changed. And so I want to say to you, don't fake it till you make it, fake it till you become it. It's not do it enough until you actually become it and internalize. The last thing I want to leave you with is this. Tiny tweaks can lead to big changes. So this is 2 minutes. 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. Before you go into the next stressful evaluative situation, for 2 minutes, try doing this in the elevator, in a bathroom stall, at your desk behind closed doors. That's what you want to do. Configure your brain to cope the best in that situation. Get your testosterone up, get your cortisol down. Don't leave that situation feeling like, oh, I didn't show them who I am. Leave that situation feeling like, oh, I really feel like I got to say who I am and show who I am. So I want to ask you first, both to try power posing, and also I want to ask you to share this science, because this is simple. I don't have ego involved in this. Give it away, share it with people, because the people who can use it the most are the ones with no resources and no technology and no status and no power. Give it to them, because they can do it in private. They need their bodies, privacy, and 2 minutes, and it can significantly change the outcomes of their life. Thank you.
Okay, so I just wanted to give you all a little sample of that, because you're going to be administrators, you're going to be dealing with people all the time, and you are seriously going to need to be aware of your body language. Even as you're watching this, most people, as they watch it, they look at it and they think, I do that. I can see myself kind of shrinking down, especially in the classrooms when it's face to face, you kind of like you didn't do your reading or whatever. So you try to become invisible into the chair so the professor doesn't pin you down. So, think about how you come across to the people. I had a professor one time at Texas A&M, and he talked about body language in one of my classes. And he said he had gone to Mexico and was doing some research in a very, very little small village, basically. And when he went into the people's house, he sat down and they were very friendly, offering him something to drink, something to eat, just really, really friendly. But when he sat down, he crossed his leg. And when he crossed his legs, the bottom of his foot was facing them. And they threw him out of his house, out of their house. They said that was very disrespectful, because in that little village, the custom was that if you did that and showed someone the bottom of your foot, it was like you were walking on them. And so he, without realizing, he highly insulted them. So the body language, the cultural norms, everything goes on. As administrators in hospital settings or any kind of healthcare, just administrators, period, you need to be aware of what's going on. Okay, do I have any questions on anything, any comments? No? Okay. Okay, so here's what I got planned for the rest of the evening. I'm going to give you a choice. I'm going to set the groups up. Oh, by the way, every group has volunteered to go on the 6th, so we will not have class, and I'll send you an email to remind you. We will not have class on the 29th. I will give you credit for being here, but you won't have class. And I'm extending the due date of all your parts of because y'all are doing this, postponing for me because of my conflict with the paper. I'm going to extend the due date on all the various parts until December 4th. So,
Professor, does that
Uh-huh.
include what's due this weekend?
yes, all the stuff that has to do with your presentations.
Oh, okay. But aside from that, like the scenario navigate
Yeah, the
is still
scenarios
due
are
this
still
weekend?
due. Yeah,
Okay.
scenarios are due, quizzes are due, but anything that has to do with the presentation is not due till December 4th.
Thank you so much.
Uh-huh. Okay, any other questions? All right, I'm going to open the breakout rooms up. So if you want to meet with your group, you can. If you feel like y'all don't need to meet, you're feeling a sigh of relief, or you have something else that's due tomorrow and you're panicked about, then it's okay for you to go. So I'll break out the rooms. They'll be there for the people who, want to meet, and otherwise, I hope y'all have a wonderful breakout Thanksgiving, a wonderful week, and get some rest, and, come back ready with a bang to finish off the semester. So I'll be popping in and out of the rooms. If y'all want to go to the rooms, other than that, though, you're free to go.
Question. I just want to verify under Dropbox, you want us to turn everything in separately, correct? Like
That's
the
correct.
floor plan and everything separate from our presentation?
Yes, that's correct. They're individually graded, and one person turns it in.
Okay, but you still want us to include it as well in the presentation?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Perfect.
also everything, the presentation only also gets turned into the discussion board.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Eddie, are you here? Sharon, are you here? Hello? Eddie, you here?
Yeah, sorry. I'm on two devices right now, so Wi-Fi is like kind of messed up.
Oh, okay. Are you in one of the rooms then? You're just in two places, or?
Yeah, my apologies.
That's okay. I just want to be sure you didn't need to be launched.
No, I'm all good.
Okay, all right, super.
Hi, Professor. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I talked to you last time, and I was wondering if I can turn in my scenario late, and then I did submit other one was missing last week.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Yeah, I remember talking to you, but I can't remember what it was about, but it's okay. You can,
Yeah, it was
when do you,
a scenario.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was just about a scenario. If I can still resubmit it.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Yeah, I had already submitted them last week. Thank you.
Okay, you bet.
Have a good evening.
You too, sweetie. You there, Sharon? Hey, Sharon, you there?
Yes, I was just about to click into the breakout room.
What number are you?
Number 4.
They're gone.
Oh, shoot. What? Oh, crap. Okay.
I think I figured your computer froze because I kept trying to talk to you and you weren't answering. So I figured that you must have froze your Wi-Fi.
Okay, yeah, it did. Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, everybody could go after their group if they didn't have anything to want to work on together. So they're gone. Only group left is 2.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Miss Martinez.
Okay, have a good holiday.
You too.